It's eyes on the court season. 2-man up, point guard and shooting guard, live and direct here. Daniel and Darren. So much to discuss. Dame Lillard,
Hey,
Kawhi Leonard.
small forward.
Small forward, yeah. Small
forward.
Cool. Dame Lillard, Kawhi Leonard, Bucks, Suns, Chris Paul, Giannis, Booker. Let's go.
Yo, I'm tryna get my sterling up in the city, so s'il play. As soon as my child can walk, it's straight Project Mbappe. But all the verbal, as soon as I hear that whistle, we get straight to the action. Come on lads, where's the passion? Do like Alan Maxine, wear headbands for the fashion. If the defenders drop back, we counter and then attack them. I got my eye on the ball, yeah. I got my eye on the ball, yeah. I got my eye on the ball.
Yes, people. It's eyes on the court season. The three-headed monster is one man down today, but Daniel and Darren are here to steer the ship. Darren, my bro, what are you telling me? How you doing, man?
All good, man. All good. Feeling there's a lot of interesting reports come out recently in the last couple of hours, last couple of days. So yeah, man, a lot of stuff to get into, man. Looking forward to the show.
100%, man. 100%. Obviously, once again, just shout out to Lashard Binkley for jumping on the podcast recently and dissecting a lot of things with us.
And shout out Scout UK as well, man. Shout out my boy Cornelius. Really enjoyed that show, man. Yours breakdown. Definitely check that one out as well.
Yeah, definitely. 100%. Cool. All right, then. We might as well get straight into it. There were some rumblings today. Sideline sources obviously saying how Dame Lillard is looking at possibly leaving Portland. They brought up his, basically the exit interview for their playoff first round defeat to Denver Nuggets. And Lillard was obviously expressing how he thought they should have won. Like, bare minimum, in this year's playoffs, they had to be beating the Nuggets, innit? And he was just basically saying, if we can't beat the Nuggets, then boy, like what's happening?
Bro, today? The Nuggets had Jokic was their only remaining starter from their starting five that they had at the beginning of the season, and that's not because they obviously brought in Aaron Gordon, but a lot of that was down to injuries. Like, they had guys on two-way contracts starting and dominating against Portland. So yeah, there's no way Dame can be happy with that.
Yeah, man, for sure. Especially after the moves that the Trailblazers tried to make, like Norman Powell, Covington, obviously the year prior, obviously Melo. He always provides points for them, but it just hasn't really worked for them in terms of whether it be injuries, whether it be the mesh, whether it be the fit,
coaching.
Coaching, or whether it just be their time is up. Do you know what I mean?
Another little tentacle as well was the reaction of the Portland fans to Dame's recommendation of Chauncey. So that's a whole nother saga where basically Dame recommended some coaches that he would like to, obviously because Terry Stotts got fired, their coach, who was the only coach Dame's ever had since he's been in the league. He got fired, and obviously, as you expect in the NBA, fam, the superstar has a say in who he wants the coach to be. Dame recommended Chauncey. And a lot of people started to bring up Chauncey's rape allegations from it was 20 years ago or something like that. People try bring that back to the surface and try and say to Dame, is this the kind of guy you want coaching our team, basically? And Dame was pissed, man. He wasn't happy with the reaction of the fan base, and I think that definitely contributed to his displeasure.
No, for sure, man. Definitely hear you, bro. So yeah, really and truly, I think the decision or the conversation right now for us is just trying to see what teams would be in for Dame. I mean, what team wouldn't want to get Dame, to be honest? But realistically, what packages we can come up with that possibly might lure. How do you say that word? Lure.
Dame
from the Trailblazers, innit? So yeah, man, let me know what you think, and we can kind of go back to back with packages that we maybe have.
From the reports, The Knicks are one of the teams on his list. The Lakers are one of the teams on his list. The Warriors and the Miami Heat, I think, was the last one. Obviously, we want to get more concrete reports, but that's the early rumors. I don't think the Lakers have much of a package to put together. THT is pretty much, or if they like Kuz, I mean, he's probably the best tradable player. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously AD and LeBron ain't going anywhere, so I don't see the Lakers putting together a package. The Warriors, I think the Warriors can put something nice together. Do you know what I mean? Because they got them 2 picks. I think it was, what do you remember the picks? 8 and 14, was it? You're muted still.
8 and 14, yeah. 8 and 14.
In a nice draft, those are 2 nice picks. You know what I mean? Like, those are quality assets. So I think those 2 picks, James Wiseman, maybe have to throw in like either Wiggins or Draymond, maybe a Kelly Oubre, Jordan Poole. Because listen, we're talking about Damian Lillard. Any asset you have is on the table. As long as it's not like untouchable. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, because you're the one making the package. Anything that you have is on the table. But for a team that I think should make the move. To be honest, you set pace with it, innit? You said you didn't think it would be a good deal for Portland, but I think it makes sense for both teams. The Damian Lillard, not Damian Lillard, the Ben Simmons trade. Philly have already come out and said Ben Simmons is on the block. Basically, he had a poor playoff run, so his stock is at its lowest right now. So that means Portland can fleece Philly of all their additional assets as well, all their young guys, Thibault, Maxey, Picks, Milton. Like, you can basically get whatever you want because Philly, you missed out on James Harden. Now you got another chance to go get Damian Lillard. I don't see them turning that down to pair him up with Joel Embiid. So I think that's a package that makes sense for both teams, man. And Damon Embiid, that's one of the best duos in the league.
No, for sure. No, I hear that still. Damon Embiid, like, bro, you're talking to a 76ers fan. I think that would be great for the 76ers and what they could possibly do together. I mean, you don't forget you have Seth Curry. He's now the second guard there, and like, he no longer needs to, because he showed if he had a bit more touches and a bit more shots and opportunities to score, that he could put up good points. So now he doesn't have that pressure to be like the second or the supplement star to Embiid. Bro, you now have Lillard, Seth, and Embiid.
Bro,
that's a very, very solid.
And Seth is basically your backup point guard, which is he'll be lighting it up in them second units, fam.
100%. So now, and you know what? When I think about it now, a great point that you mentioned was the fact that Simmons had a poor playoff run, so his stock market right now is at its lowest, and you're trying to buy at the dip. So
you know what I'm saying? You got facts.
Literally, like, you fleece the 76ers of all their assets, man. Everything that you want, you can get, literally. But
the truth is, Philly is not fussed with that. It's like when everyone was saying the Lakers overpaid for Anthony Davis. Like, bro, you can't overpay when you're talking about a guy of that level.
Bro,
do you get what I mean? There's no such thing as overpaying for someone of that level.
As much as they want him to compete for I don't think it will happen, but compete and be one of the guys that might be considered on the Lakers Mount Rushmore, which is tremendously tough to do. But being that upper echelon, bro, he's already repaid, in my opinion, everything that he
one championship, and that's all you need, bro. The trade was worth it. Look at the Raptors with Kawhi, fam. They didn't even have him for more than one season, and they'll still tell you it was worth it.
100%. Cool. That's a good offer. Definitely, we'll put it out there. I think my package. I'm looking at a team like the Heat. I'm looking at the Heat, especially because they wanted James Harden. And thinking back to that, they obviously made the mistake there. So I think if I'm the Heat, you give up guys like Tyler Hero, of course. I think you give up Precious Achiuwa. I think you give up Duncan Robinson.
Precious Achiuwa is gonna be a baller, bro.
Gonna be solid. You think you give him up? They have a couple of picks as well. I don't think they'll be high-end picks, but they have a couple of picks that can be thrown into the deal. 100%. And that, look, Bar, Butler, and Bam, you create a team of Lillard, Bam, and Butler. My goodness.
It's mad.
My goodness.
It's
My
mad.
goodness. Now Jimmy Butler doesn't have that same pressure that we expect of him. Lillard can make shots. You have Jimmy Butler moving. He's off the ball, which he likes to be. You have 2 closers on your team. 2.
And bro, you can even put Dame off the ball because Bam is one of the best ball handling bigs in the league as well.
Facts. So there's so much you can do with that team. You still got the veteran presence in that team. Obviously, Udonis Haslam's obviously off the floor coaching, but then you still got Iguodala who can still help you out. I feel like he's got like that same PJ Tucker influence that obviously the Bucks are getting from him. So like, bro, I think the Heat can put up a really nice package for Dame Lillard for sure, and that's a nice destination for Dame. Like,
nah, bro, that trio of Dame, Jimmy, and Bam, elite. That's an elite trio on both ends of the court. Do you know what I mean? So I like that. And the thing with the Miami Heat is they've got so many good role players that even if you get rid of a lot of your role players, you're still gonna have some left over. Do you know what I mean? Because let's not forget, Dragic is still there. You still got Iguodala. They got young guys like KZ Okpala, Kendrick Nunn, Duncan Robertson. Do you know what I mean? Like they've got so many role players. So it's like even if you give away 3-4 of them, you're still gonna have about 2 or 3 left.
I guess the question is really, do you go with the package that has the best player, which everyone always argues that you have to go with that deal, or do you go with the package that potentially you've now built something that's great and all you need is that one player to come? But then again, do you get that when you're Portland? So it's a tough situation that they find themselves in.
What I ask you is though, how would you approach the CJ situation? Because CJ is another guy that I feel like
I trade CJ
you trade both like in the same off season.
If you get something that's good enough for CJ, bro, they were talking about doing Ben for CJ. So CJ stock is pretty high.
But for me, that's because Ben's stock is so low, not because CJ's stock is so high.
I guess
you know what I mean?
No, I agree. But I guess how I'm seeing it, or how I'm choosing to see it in Portland's eyes, because think about it, I'm in the shoes of the Portland GM now.
Yeah,
I'm saying that CJ is
and he has got blood on his hands right now, by the way, because the way he dealt with the Chauncey situation, everyone's looking at him with side eye saying, does this guy really know what he's doing? Same Neil O'Shea.
No, facts. And look, I'm saying now with the CJ situation, why I would look at it like this is because I have to go into talks on the front foot. I can't be on the back foot. When you're on the back foot, then you don't know the worth of your player. You're going in like very, very tentative, and you have to basically listen rather than being listened to. So I think for me with the CJ situation, what I would do is I would look around the league, or look across the league, and see who isn't Ben Simmons, or the Ben Simmons projection, so the projected version of Ben Simmons, but the Ben Simmons who, if he becomes a role player on another team rather than being the star that he's supposed to be, like so one of the all-stars, mid-caliber all-stars, then you never know what you could get for CJ, man.
What type of player would you want? Because to be honest, I'll give my thoughts on it because I do agree with you, but to an extent. But what type of? Because basically, if you trade Dame and CJ, you're starting from scratch. Do you know what I mean? And if you trade both of them, you need at least one young guy that you're looking at saying you can't do a Rockets. And even the Rockets are lucky because they got Christian Wood and Kevin Porter Jr. out of luck, pure luck.
Do you know what I would look at? And you might disagree. This is just off the top of the head, isn't it? We've really had no time to prepare properly.
Yeah,
on what we would do.
We're just spitballing.
Yeah, for sure. But do you know who and you will disagree? I know you will, but you know I've got huge stocks in this guy, and I do believe in him. He can bounce back because I just think that level of talent, it just can't go to waste. But I think you go knocking to the Dallas Mavericks, man. You get Porzingis, and Porzingis for CJ. You switch that because I'm just thinking around the league, there's not really another like ball handler like Dame that you can really go out.
That's available, exactly.
Yeah. So the next best thing is go out and get a big man who wants to be the number one option on his team. KP comes into Portland and becomes that. You surround KP with Tyler Hero, Duncan Robertson. You have Precious Achua who can play the 4 effectively, or play the 5 as well,
Yeah,
which
the
KP
Kristaps can. Yeah,
doesn't mind, bro. And then you go out and find yourself a point guard, which like it doesn't have to be upper echelon. That's a nice little team you're creating there.
nah,
That's one of
facts.
a nice
Yeah,
little team
I like the sound of that still.
with the picks that you have.
Exactly. Nah, I like the sound of that still because you stay competitive with the team that you're talking about. Do you get what I mean? You got the Miami Heat role players coming, then Kristaps, you let him lead the way, and you let Tyler Hero, if you can get Kendrick Nunn, you let those guys develop. You still got Anthony Simons, who's a good young guy that they have. Do you know what I mean? You let those guys develop and you stay competitive. Do you know what I mean? Because a lot of teams are eager to go straight to the bottom and get high number 1 and number 2 overall picks and rebuild that way. Do you know what I mean? But like the Miami Heat never do that. The Miami Heat, even if as soon as they lose LeBron or they lose anybody, they'll never say, "Oh, we're gonna tank." Do you know what I mean? They'll always say, "We'll stay good." Do you know what I mean? We're always gonna try and win. And then when the opportunity comes to improve, we take the opportunity. But I like the point that you made about you need to be negotiating to them rather than them to you. Do you know what I mean? But my thing with trading them all in the same offseason is your teams are basically knowing that you're trying to trade CJ. Do you know what I mean? So that automatically reduces your leverage. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like he has to go type thing.
No,
Do you know what I mean?
that. Everyone, just quickly, everyone says that. I wanted to clarify that point. The point is, when you got CJ and Nurkic, it's a bit like the Kevin. Like there's no trade that happens that we don't know could potentially happen when it comes to the upper echelon guys. Like it doesn't come out of the blue that CJ is going to get traded. Like there's obviously going to be discussions that would have been had, like because of the respect that they would have with them. Like it's very, very rare you have surprise star trades. Like a star just gets traded. Do you know what I mean? So for me, it's not like you're saying I need to trade him now. I need to trade him now. You take your time. He's on the trade block. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying
until the right package comes.
Yeah,
but that's why I said I like the Kristaps package because I think that's one of the few packages that actually makes
Dallas
sense.
Need the CJ.
Exactly.
And comes the other way, like bro, it's a win-win for both
teams.
Teams.
Even if you trade Dame for picks and you do the CJ for Ben trade, do you get what I mean? Let's say if you feel like you rather get picks for Dame and then get Ben via CJ, you can do it that way. But yeah, I feel like don't be in a rush to trade CJ, man, because let's say now you trade Dame, bro, CJ can come in next year and average 27, 28 a game. And then his value is through the roof. Do you get what I mean? If he's the number 1 option and he's on a team of young guys and, you know, you're rebuilding post Dame, bro, you put the ball in CJ's hands, CJ can be a legit number 1 guy. I'm not saying you're going to win games, but I'm saying his value goes up. So now when teams are making offers during the following season, the offers are better. Do you know what I mean? And you have more leverage.
Something I want to ask you then. I'm going to put this to you, put you in the hot seat for a second.
You know, I'm always ready to be in the hot seat, fam.
What do you think about OKC going in for Dame?
I like the Dame and Shea. That is nasty. Do you know what I mean? I think the only way it works is if OKC is ready to go all in straight away. Do you know what I mean? You can't get Dame and then say, "Oh, we're gonna keep the other 25 picks that we have." Do you know what I mean? For me, that don't make sense. If you're going all, because Dame has got 3 years left in his deal, I believe.
Is now the time to go all in, or should they just wait? Should they chill and bake? Because remember, one of the biggest things we were talking about with OKC and all the picks and all of that is when's the right time to go all in. You can't keep waiting for windows because it might never come.
Yes.
So is now the time with Dame?
I think potentially it is. And the main reason why is because remember the reason why I said they shouldn't be hasty to go all in, because not many guys will get to OKC and want to stay in OKC. Do you know what I mean? There's no point trading all the picks and keeping a guy for 1 or 2 years. Do you know what I mean? There's no point because you're not going to win. You're not going to build a team unless you're going to go all in from the jump. Then cool. But the difference with Dame is Dame has 3 years left on his deal. So you've got 3 good years of Damian Lillard at his peak. And that's probably the best years he has left. He's like, what, 30, 31 now? Do you get what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
bro, I like the idea of it, but you go all in. For me, Shea is a guy you can build around. You got Lou Dort, you got if you bring in Dame, then you go and get. If it's me, you need a big, a special big man.
Free agency. There's a couple
No,
of
no,
guys.
no, no. I'm using all the. I'm not all the picks, but I'm putting picks together and I'm going and getting maybe Carl Anthony Towns. I'm going and getting
Hey,
what other guys
Shea,
available?
Dame, and Cat.
And Carl Anthony.
Yo, yo.
And bro, that's not far fetched for OKC. Look at all the
It's
assets
not.
that they have, and their
Especially
own
when
pick. I think they have the 6th pick right now.
yeah.
In this draft.
Especially when Cat is someone who, like, one of them guys who just gotten to the end of their time at a team, like when they've not
You know what I'm
competed
saying,
for a long
bro?
time.
The only reason why Cat is still in Minnesota is because his boy is there, D'Lo.
Yeah.
D'Angelo Russell. Like, bro, if you put together a good enough package, bro, and they just drafted Anthony Edwards as well, so they got a future face of the franchise. Do you know what I mean? If you can put a good enough package together, I think it makes sense. And obviously, it's will Dame want to go there in it because
No, of
this
course.
is the main reason why I don't see it happening is because Portland are not going to do Dame dirty. I don't see Portland trading Dame to a team that he doesn't give the okay to.
No,
Do you know what I
of
mean?
course. I'm literally just basing it off of, let's say,
No, I know. I'm just saying.
Sell the idea that they're going all in now, and you come in and we try and convince stars.
Yeah, and that's what they'd have to do. That's what they'd have to do. But are they prepared to do that? Who else is available? Do you know what I mean? Or maybe they do. Maybe they go get Kristaps. Maybe they do the Dames, Shea, and Kristaps, because you can get Kristaps for chicken change right now.
The only problem is with that, Kristaps has been complaining about Luka being the main man and him not being like the second option and like a legit second option. Rather, he sees himself as a role player on that team. Bro,
Yeah.
you go to OKC with Shea and Dame, you're not gonna be the face that you
playing a big role.
Nah, you're not.
Yeah, but no, I like the fact that you brought up OKC though, because they have all the assets, But I just don't see, unless they're going all in, I don't see Dame giving the okay that that's where he'd want to go.
Alas, and this obviously, I'm not saying again, nothing that we say here is gonna happen. This is literally just us doing fantasy basketball right now.
Aye, but if it does happen though, you know where to. Hey, give us our flowers if it does happen.
Bro,
give us our flowers.
Put you in the hot seat again. If Portland go knocking on Brad Stevens' door and say they want Jaylen Brown, and obviously a couple of assets, of course you have to figure out a way to make everything work. But Jaylen Brown is like the figurehead, the main piece for Dame. He's saying.
I think that makes sense for both sides. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, Celtics fans would argue, because I saw obviously shout out Mo, Hoop Genius. He's obviously a big Celtics fan. Sky Sports coverage as well. He was saying he wouldn't do that deal because he likes the timeline that Tatum and Brown are on. Obviously, similar ages, can build together, stuff like that. But my thing is, how long are you gonna wait? Like they've peaked already. They've been to the Eastern Conference Finals like twice. Do you know what I mean? So, like, do you really want to wait? Because you've done the waiting thing for long enough. Like, you waited. Like, there's so many chances when they could have traded for Kawhi, they could have traded for Jimmy. You know what I mean? But they waited. So, if Dame Lillard is available, one of the best players in the league, bro, I make the deal, fam. Dame and Tatum. That's a nice, and then you go get some role players. And you know what I do? If I'm the Celtics, I say, if I'm giving you Jaylen Brown, I need some of your role players as well, because you're going into basically rebuild mode by losing Dame, and we're trying to compete for a championship. So I need Covington, because Covington will be a good role player, can play the 4. The Celtics just brought Horford back; he can be your 5. Who else do I need? Maybe even no, because you don't. Maybe actually, do you want Nurkic? Do you really want Nurkic?
You're not gonna get Nurkic and Dame for Jaylen Brown. Do you think you would?
You can, bro. You can, because what what are you getting better back than Jaylen Brown from the Blazers' perspective?
Hmm.
Do you get what I mean? Unless you want to rebuild through the draft, you're not getting a better player back than Jaylen Brown. Do you get what I mean? If it's fine, but if they don't want to give up Dame and Nurkic, that's fine. But then, as I said, you're not going to get a player the caliber of Jaylen Brown in return. Do you get what I mean? But maybe Nurkic is a stretch. I even think Dame, Covington for like Jaylen Brown, and maybe like obviously they want to keep Pritchard. They like him, Romeo Langford or something. I think that's a deal that makes sense for both sides, man. Like the Celtics, man. Enough of this patient thing, man. Just gamble, man. Go all in.
Go all in. Nah, do you know what? Look, I hear it still. I hear it. I think when I think about the Trailblazers, and I'm just trying to bring up something very, very quickly. When I think about the Trailblazers, it's just about gauging the landscape of the league. Where's everyone's heads at? What do you think I could give up to get back? Do you know what I'm saying?
You know what? Let me ask you a question, innit? I got a question for you.
Go on.
Because what would you rather have? Yeah, would you rather rebuild through the draft? Because this is a good draft, isn't it? Like, there's a lot of young prospects that are. Depends on what.
I know the question. Like, it depends. It really depends on what you have. The Trailblazers don't have a lot of draft picks to their name. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like OKC have two options. Let's break it down like this. OKC have two options. They can build through the draft and they can build through the trade market because they've got the assets to do it. They've got the picks to do it. And they've got the picks to also, let's say, we're trying to rebuild through the draft. You know what I'm saying? The problem the Trailblazers have is small market team, one of the small market teams of the league. 2, they don't have the picks to say that they want to build through the draft. 3, one of the reservations, so to my own trade package, so the main one I brought forward, the Miami Heat one of the main reservations to that one is the fact that yes, you get a lot of these talented role players, but you don't get someone who you can put the ball in their hands. Obviously, you got CJ McCollum, but if you now trade CJ McCollum, for example, and you still don't get someone,
it'd be Hero and Simmons. Those are the two guys you have.
And it's like, what do I say to you all the time? The aim of every single the aim of every single franchise in sport is to win the ultimate prize. Whatever the ultimate prize is in your sport, that's the aim. What's the upside to doing that? To putting the ball in the hands of someone like Anthony Simons and Tyler Hero. You ain't winning.
It's not great.
You're not winning.
You're going to be a bad team regardless.
Yeah. So that's the point I make.
A great point that you made was they don't have their draft picks.
Yeah.
Because do you remember where was Covington at before? Where did they get him from?
They got him.
Was it the Timberwolves?
Symbols, because it wasn't 76ers traded Covington to the Timberwolves. No, from the Rockets, Houston.
So they traded that, but that's what I'm saying, because I think they traded this year's pick to Houston. Was it this year or next year's pick?
Let me just make sure.
Because
in a 14-12 player trade with Jordan Bell from Timberwolves, Minnesota received Vanderbilt, Malik Beasley, Juan Hernan Gomez, Evan Turner, and a 2020 first round draft pick. The following day
from Portland
Sorry. Covington was traded to the Portland Trailblazers in exchange for Trevor Ariza, the draft rights to Isaiah Stewart, and a conditional future first round pick.
Isaiah Stewart, who was first team all rookie, by the way.
Bro.
So guys that you could be rebuilding with, you already been giving them up.
You know what I mean? Do you know what I'm saying? So
and the issue is now, you said it. They don't have. Check if they have next year's draft pick.
Let me see.
Because if you lose Damian Lillard, you're going to be, unless you keep CJ, you're going to be a bad team, like potentially top 5 pick. So if they don't have next year's pick,
Portland Trailblazers have.
Might be. Hopefully you can find it. It's a tough. Might be tough to find if they still have it.
Portland currently doesn't own a first round or second round pick. It could be the third time since 2010, 14, 16. The team doesn't have a pick in the draft, depending on what the team needs. So they don't have a 2021 pick.
What about 2022?
Let me.
I think they have that in it. I think they have that still, because I think Because when they traded for Covington, I think it was that pick and then this year's pick as well. Those were the 2 first-round picks they gave up, I think.
So the draft. So the Blazers have no first or second round picks this season. Last season of the draft night, traded their 2020 and 2021 future first round picks away.
Yeah, so those 2 picks. So they have their 2022 pick, which now that Damian Lillard is potentially gone, that is valuable. Exactly. Bro, that is literally that's your life.
You don't make the playoffs. You're high up in the lottery, and
don't make the playoff. There's no chance they're making the playoffs if Damian Lillard leaves. No chance.
Yeah, in the West. Do you know what? In the West,
there's no chance. There's no chance. Yeah, that's why I'm saying if they didn't have their pick, that Miami Heat trade that you said would have been made more sense because you're a better team, so that you're not giving up a top 3 pick.
But, and it's a huge but now. You have to go with the 76ers.
Bro, I've been saying it, fam, because Ben, you're not getting a much better player than Ben.
But there's 2 things. There's 2 problems to it. Ben's the best player, and Ben is capable of maybe not taking them to the playoffs, but keeping them high enough to compete.
Ben or Jaylen Brown?
As in what? As in realistically, or who's the better player?
No, who would you rather get back if you were Portland?
If I'm building a team.
Yeah, who would you rather build around?
Or if I'm Portland or just in general?
Portland, if you're Portland. If you're trading Dame, would you rather get back Jaylen Brown or Ben Simmons?
You put me in a chiz, man. Because you know me, I put you on Jaylen Brown. I put you on Jaylen Brown. I'm telling you, you weren't too keen on him.
No, but
I made sure you stayed keen.
I'll give you that.
Look, Jaylen Brown is my guy. Like I love this guy, man. I just love his tenacity. I just love everything about him, man. Like,
bro, he was just an all-star last year, bro.
And deserved all-star. Let's deserve it, especially because there's
could have won most improved.
100%. But you know when there's guys who, like, because there were so many guys that could have been in the all-star, who could have been selected as an all-star but didn't make it. Jaylen Brown sometimes gets mentioned as, did he really, bro? He deserved it. Like, he deserved it.
Definitely.
But then Ben Simmons, the key to Ben Simmons is understanding who he is. And I think if you put him in a situation like Portland, you can create a team that he will thrive. Like, he will thrive like no man's business. That's why it's tough. But in this situation, like we always say, man, bro, you take the better player. Who do you think's the better player, Jaylen Brown or Ben Simmons?
Jaylen Brown.
And that's where I sit as well, man. You have to take.
Yeah, I can't say Ben Simmons after that last playoff
There's some people out there, though. There's some people out there, bro. Ben Simmons is one of, if not, bro, Ben Simmons is like top 3 defenders, pound for pound in the league.
But you could argue Jaylen Brown is as well, though. The only thing is, Ben Simmons is obviously more versatile, isn't it?
Wingspan, he can, bro. Ben Simmons bigger. Comfortably.
Exactly. But Jaylen Brown averaged 25 a game, and he's a lockdown defender. Like, you're not getting a better player to rebuild your franchise with than Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown, yeah, you have to take Jaylen Brown, man. You have to take Jaylen Brown. But bro, it's tough, man. I wouldn't look at you sideways if you went with Ben Simmons. Do you know what I'm saying?
Last team, yeah, that I want to pitch to you, yeah. Not pitch, but get your thoughts on before we move on. This has been good though. I love hypothetical trades and stuff like that, because that's, fam, everyone loves talking the NBA off season, fam. But the Warriors is the team that I think could potentially put something decent together. So obviously, as you could get the 8th pick, the 14th pick. So that's 2 picks in this year's draft. Then you have your next year's pick, which could be, if you want to be a bad team, let's say you trade CJ and Nurkic, that could be a top 3 pick. And you know who's coming out next year? Chet Holmgren. That guy that's like 8 feet tall.
Bro, huge.
What? 8 feet tall, can handle the ball, is like a bloody pterodactyl. You could get Donnies like that. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you could have the 8th pick, the 15th pick, and potentially a top 3 pick next year. And also James Wiseman. Do you know what I mean? And maybe a guy like Wiggins, Kelly Oubre, Jordan Poole. What do you think of that package? And
That's
does
the
it make
issue.
sense for the Warriors to put Steph and Dame together?
No, from the Warriors' perspective. Okay, cool. Let's break it down like this. From the Warriors' perspective, you get Dame Lillard. Let's forget the package now for a minute. You get Dame Lillard and you match him with Curry and Klay Thompson, bro. There's only the Nets can beat them, in my opinion. Only the Nets. I don't think the Lakers can beat them because the Lakers' success is obviously a lot to do with. Yeah, fair enough. You got the perimeter shooting, but the Lakers always fall short when it comes to their shooting, and that they elevated their shooting in their championship year, but they shot the same that they did in the regular season as they did in this year's playoffs. Like that's really what let them down. If we be honest, it was their shooting. It was at times borderline horrendous, isn't it?
Yeah.
So they pound you in the glass. And I just think that team will be you'll just be moving around so much. Do you really want LeBron, AD in that situation, especially with his injury troubles? And then we don't know who else is there. We have a good defense, but bro, good offense always beats good defense, in my opinion. So yeah, you got that.
So you think it makes sense for the Warriors? What about Blazers' perspective?
Blazers' perspective, I don't know. Because now you look at it like this: you get a guy like Wiseman. Chet Holmgren is the overwhelming favorite for the number one pick. Imagine they do have the number one pick now. What, you don't get Chet Holmgren and you have Chet Holmgren
No. What?
You have
I'm getting.
No, you have to. But then imagine you have Wiseman now as well. It actually makes no sense to have them two on the.
But then you can just trade Wiseman, innit? You can just trade him. Or and he will have an extra year under his belt, might have averaged like 18 a game if he's, do you know what I mean?
True.
That he's being relied on. He'll get his stock up. You could get a nice, and everyone's looking for like good bigs. Do you know what I mean? So you could get a nice package for him. And there's no guarantee that you're going to end up with a guy like Chet Holmgren anyway.
No, of course, no guarantee. The Warriors have. So out of all the teams that don't have the greatest of packages, the Warriors have the best package, if that makes sense. So when you have the Lakers who are interested in all these guys, and you've got other teams that will be interested in these guys, like the Nets will be interested in every single major person who becomes available. But whether or not they have the package, that's yet to be seen. So I think the Warriors have the best package of those teams. So it literally depends on how the cards fall. Like, fam, I remember when Kawhi, when he wanted to be traded, the Raptors were never number one on the list. They were never close to being number one. But
yeah, they weren't even on his list.
Yeah. I'm even saying besides Kawhi's list, like just the list of teams that would have wanted Kawhi and the likelihood of them getting him, I don't think the Raptors would have been top 3, top 5. Do you know what I'm saying?
You mean instead of likelihood, do you mean the likelihood that he would want to go there?
He would want to go there,
yeah. No, bro, he was definitely reluctant to go there, fam. You could even tell in the press conference, the intro, when he did not want to be there, but he won, innit?
So you never know, man. You never know for sure. Like the Warriors definitely have some stuff that they could whip up. It would be funny if they said if Portland said they wanted Draymond Green and Draymond would have to go, and like would the franchise trade Draymond? They definitely would if it's for Dame Lillard.
Bro, and the thing is, but then I don't. For me, if you lose Draymond, it don't make sense. I don't think, because I don't for the Warriors, yeah, because I don't like the idea of Steph, Dame, and Clay like without Draymond. For me, it's a bit too like it's too much of a change. Do you know what I mean? Because the way the Warriors play now, Steph doesn't handle the ball a lot. Do you know what I mean? So you're going to lose Draymond. So that means Steph is going to handle the ball more. And you're bringing in Damian Lillard. So it's like you're completely changing the way you play. You're changing everything about the franchise. And Clay still needs to get his touches as well. Do you know what I mean? And neither of Steph or Dame is like a playmaker. They both want to score the ball. Do you know what I mean? So
I think you can find
I'm not saying you say no to it. Do you know what I mean? But I'm just saying if you lose Draymond, it's tough.
Bro, it's definitely a valid point and it's something to think about. But like I just see with the Nets, KD, Kyrie, Harden, yeah, fair enough. People say Harden was the playmaker of that team and whatnot, and they're an elite playmaker. So that's
he had to change his role. That's what I'm saying.
And of course, but I believe that those players are good enough to do that. I think Steph and Dame's passing abilities are underrated. I think the reason why they've not needed to do that is because Steph prefers to be off the ball, and he said that he likes to be off the ball, and that's what's really prolonged his career. Like Steph don't get injured as much as he should for a small guard that likes to drive to the hole and all of that. He doesn't, and that's because he's off the ball. And I think bringing in a guy like Dame as well helps with that. And also, bro, the free agency market is there. Like there will be good free agents and people you could trade packages.
But you ain't getting another Draymond though, man. You ain't getting another Draymond.
Maybe not Draymond, but you can get two versions. So you can get a playmaker and a top quality defender that can fill out your roster. It doesn't have to be Draymond. I think they can win without Draymond, if I'm honest. Like, Draymond's not the same guy he used to be.
The point I'm trying to make is how many guys do you trust to handle the ball when you have Steph and Dame on your team? Do you get what I mean? Like,
No. It's a valid question, but I think that these men, there gets to a certain point for me in the NBA where the players are so good that
they'll figure it out. Yeah, they'll figure it out.
I think the Warriors will sort itself out, in my opinion.
Yeah, let's move on to Kawhi. This is a long ass trade discussion, but it was fun.
No, 100%. Let's quickly move on to Kawhi. Kawhi, obviously, recent ACL, partial ACL ligament tear, and I mean, turned out to be a serious injury. I don't know about you, but it came as a surprise to me that he had to have surgery. I thought it was just something that needed to be rested. So the projected time is 9 months.
Let me did you see what Skip was saying? Because Skip actually got the lowdown a couple weeks back that Kawhi was gonna need surgery. Do you know what I mean? That as in Skip was saying that for a while. I don't know if but because Kawhi's camp, they're very you can't predict what they're gonna do. Do you know what I mean? So somehow Skip got the lowdown that the injury is a lot worse than it was reported, and apparently it could be a similar situation than it was with the Spurs. Because the Clippers were reporting that it was a knee sprain.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? People were saying, is Kawhi going to be able to come back? People in the media going at Kawhi saying, why is he upstairs in the booth when he should be on the sidelines with his teammates? Do you know what I mean? Apparently, he didn't like the fact that they were trying to minimize the level of the injury.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it could potentially be another Spurs situation where he's looking at the franchise sideways saying, same thing. I don't trust your medical staff over mine. Do you know what I mean? You guys were not misdiagnosed me, but misreported. It could even be a misdiagnosis. Do you know what I mean? It could be that they actually thought it was a sprain and it was really a partial tear.
I hear that. I think the reason why I don't think it will get to that is because a lot of the Spurs situation was also down to the teammates, Tony Parker, and a number of others also talking bad on
and Pop as well. Actually, not really.
Not Pop, but Pop.
He said a couple snide comments.
Bro, yeah, do you know what I'm saying? And even analysts were saying, if Pop is saying this, then yeah, Kawhi is definitely in the wrong. Exactly. And that, you know what I'm saying? And so I don't think that will ever happen. Ty Lue will never throw Kawhi under the bus. He will back him to the ends of the earth. I don't think any of the teammates on the Clippers roster, especially, and I say this especially because I think we got to see Kawhi be Kawhi this playoffs. He had a number of very, very outstanding performances which were cut short. And
bro, if he didn't get injured, I think they would have won the chip.
Potentially.
I think they would have won the chip if he didn't get injured. But another guy, Steve Ballmer as well. Steve Ballmer will do whatever Kawhi wants him to do, especially because, bro, they mortgaged their future. They gave all the draft picks away for Paul George. Do you know what I mean? So they cannot afford to let Kawhi go. They'll do whatever he needs them to do for him to stay. But
so long story short for you, what's the Clippers situation in your head? Because now you will have Kawhi. You won't have Kawhi in the last year of his contract. So what's going through your head? Because he's basically, let's just say he's out for the season. What that's no chip because that's guaranteed. That's not happening. What do the Clippers do?
It's tough, man. Because do you even make the playoffs without Kawhi? Genuinely, because it's not. Reggie Jackson's gone. Reggie Jackson's a free agent,
get paid.
And he's gonna get paid. So who's gonna be your second best player? Terrence Mann? Is that good enough to make the playoffs in the West? Do you get what I mean? So that's because obviously he's going to be out probably 8 to 9 months. Typically, that's the injury time.
Oh yeah. Go on.
He can maybe come back for the playoffs next year. Do you know what I mean? But that's why I asked, are you even going to make the playoffs? Secondly, does he want to come back straight into playoff basketball?
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? Another thing is his contract situation, because he can opt out and become a free agent.
Yeah.
And then it's like they don't even have a choice whether they give him the supermax. You have to give him the supermax, like, or whatever the maximum that he wants. You have to give it to him. Like, there's so many different tentacles to it. But as for the Clippers, I think you just sit him for the year, man. Like, sit him for the year. Lock him up. You just locked up Paul George to over 200 plus mil. Do the same with Kawhi. Give him his bag. 5-year deal. But you know, Kawhi signed 2+1 this past contract. He might want to do another 2+1, which, bro, Kawhi does what he wants. He's one of the best players in the league. You can't tell him what to do. So I think that's going to be another sticky situation. But they just have to do what the priorities: get him healthy, get him happy. Because if he's pissed off that they think like that, he thinks that they misdiagnosed him, or any friction between him and the Clippers, they need to iron that out. They need to lock him down on a long-term deal and get him healthy. Yeah. Those are the three priorities, man.
No, 100%. Couldn't agree more. Cool. We can go to the NBA Finals now. Bucks, Suns. It's tied 2-2. The Bucks, obviously, they've defended home court very, very well, very, very impressively. One blowout-ish type of game and one tight game, which went down to the wire. But the Bucks did the job. Firstly, because there's two conversations I want to have. Obviously, my thoughts are, look, with the Suns, everything that I won't say I predicted, because it wasn't really a prediction that was hard, came true. Role players suffered. 3-point shot wasn't falling.
Hey, my prediction came through though. Remember, I said get Ayton in foul trouble. That was a point that I hammered down. No, Game 100%. 3, they got him in foul trouble and they won the game.
And it ties our points together, because really and truly, it's easier to do that when you're at home. Do you know what I'm saying? I feel like the pressure from
the fans
exactly.
That
kind of stuff. Yeah, definitely.
On referees.
Definitely. And I think that's why a lot of mainstream media are saying that they don't think anyone will get a game away from home. And I guess that's the real subject to the matter, bro. Like, the Suns really shot the ball from the 3-point line badly after shooting the ball so excellently well in the first 2 games. Like, I think in the total of 61 threes that was attempted, they only hit about 15 across 2 games. And for the Suns, that's like really low for them. Like, that's really,
bro. That's 25% or something,
bro. Like, yeah. So, yeah, I think that in itself already tells you where the Suns were falling short. And then the Chris Paul, man, that's where I wanted to get your thoughts. Obviously, Devin Booker had a poor first game, but we always know Devin Booker bounces back, and he did in big time fashion in Game 4. And I feel like if Chris Paul just showed any semblance of himself, they would have won that game. We will talk about the Giannis block and everything, but that is the main thing. Like, what do you think about Chris Paul? And do you think that there's potential for him to be considered a choke if he doesn't win the chip this year? Just like you're about to choke.
The irony. Bro, I can't lie. I was saying it to Mo a couple days ago. If Chris Paul continues to play the way that he's been playing, because his performance has gotten worse game by game. You're on mute. But his performance, do you get what I mean? And it was bottom of the barrel in Game 4. He had 10 points, 5 turnovers. Do you know what I mean? I think he was like, his turnover ratio was stupid, like earlier on in the playoffs and even earlier on in the series. So to answer the question, will he be regarded as a choke? It depends on how he plays. Do you know what I mean? Like, if he's being Chris Paul, putting up 20 and 10, you know, playing good defense, being the floor general that he is, and they lose, I wouldn't regard him as a choke. I think a lot of people in the media would say it. I think that'd be harsh because he's up against, let's be honest, when Giannis is done, he'll be one of the greatest players to ever play the game. Do you know what I mean? So he's up against that kind of opposition. I wouldn't be super critical of him. In terms of him playing better, he needs to get back to being Chris Paul, man. Like, you don't need to be like a 35. No one's asking you to be LeBron or something. Put up 35 and 10. Just go back to being the point guard. Do you know what I mean? 20 points, 10 assists, minimal turnovers, and being the floor general. Do you know what I mean? No one needs you to, be amazing. Just get shots for Crowder, Bridges, get Booker a couple open shots. Shout out to Booker, by the way. 40 plus points, no threes. That rarely happens in today's game. He's one of the only guys like that's capable of that. But yeah, Chris Paul, man, you just gotta go back to being CP, man. Like, literally. But what's your thoughts on it, man? Like, cause a lot of people were saying Chris Paul's their best player. Do you know what I mean? But Devin Booker's the guy that's like, he's carrying the scoring load. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's been doing this thing these whole playoffs. So you're muted as well. But
this is
where do you stand on that? Do you still think like Chris Paul's the guy, or do you think Devin Booker's like the leader of that team?
But this is the point I was making to you guys when we were on the day, like when we had Lashard. I was saying, bro, Devin Booker, like, if the Suns win this, Devin Booker's the MVP. Like, given the finals MVP now, based off of what we know, to Chris Paul would be an injustice, in my opinion.
But bro, if you look at the odds, oh my days, Chris Paul was the favorite. Even clear of Giannis. Now Giannis has caught up, but Devin Booker's nowhere near those guys in terms of the odds.
But it's mad, because if you weigh it out, Devin Booker's been better than Chris Paul this so far, over the 4 games. I think Chris Paul's played better than Devin Booker in 1 game. That's
the
it. First game. And even in the 3rd game where Devin Booker wasn't great, they were looking to Devin Booker most of the time. It was just that Devin Booker wasn't.
Neither of them get credit for that game. It's just how bad who was worse. Who was worse than the other in that game?
Yeah. So for me, like, bro, right now Chris Paul is due a big game. Like, Chris Paul needs to really go back to doing what he does. But look, I want to say, like, I know there have been people who said it's been COVID, injuries, all of that kind of stuff. I want to give credit to Bud. What is the biggest criticism of Bud? Even from you, like, even as early as last year, fam, you were saying, Bud, don't make adjustments. This guy needs to.
But it was appropriate, though. It was appropriate.
No. I'm not even criticizing you. Yeah. I'm saying it was appropriate for the time, for sure. And it's good that he's listened to our criticism and the media's criticism. And him and his coach and stuff have really worked on making adjustments, the necessary adjustments in this series. Like, bro, the rotations that they've been able to do, sometimes not double teaming like they were doing. That's one of the things that he's definitely gone to. Giving Middleton the ball to close has been something, because back in the day, bro, Giannis had the ball in his hand to close games. Do you know what I'm saying? Now you have Giannis doing a better job in being another guy on the team, but you have the real shooter on your team being your closer. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's just like when we were making mention of the fact, and this is a debate we're obviously going to quickly have to wrap up the show, but it's just like when the 76ers brought in Butler, there was nothing wrong with Embiid, being the main man and being the best player on the team, quite clearly. But how many teams have a 7-foot big man being their closer? It just doesn't happen. Do you know what I'm saying? And you bring in a guy who can close, who can get the job done. And Chris Middleton's your guy, man. He's really elevated his game. He's really performed at a high standard. And, bro, these are the adjustments that Bud has made, and he deserves a lot of credit for, man. And that's why the Bucks, look, I think the Suns will win in 7, but I will not be surprised at all if the Bucks win this.
I think the Bucks have the momentum, man. I think the Bucks have the momentum right now. 2 games on the bounce. I said it. Whoever wins game 4 wins the series. And I keep that stance. That was my stance. I said that on, I think, the last show. If not, I tweeted it. That, whoever wins this game wins the series. And I 100% agree with that. I think the Bucks got the momentum right now. Bud, speaking of adjustments that you mentioned, the key adjustment was Devin Booker had it going while Drew Holiday was guarding him. So they said, we're going to put Drew Holiday on Chris Paul, shut off Chris Paul's water, and then let Devin Booker continue to go off, but everyone else is not going to eat. Do you know what I mean? And it banged. Drew Holiday was strapping up Chris Paul. Drew Holiday is like, he hasn't been great offensively, but defensively, that guy is an absolute monster. You're muted, innit?
I keep doing this. You don't want him guarding you, like the footwork that he's able
He's
to
so
backtrack
strong,
strong, goes in, like his hands are so active as well. So
bro.
you don't even know where to place the ball. Like bro, it's just tough. It's tough. From when KD is saying that Drew Holiday is one of the best defenders in
And
the
he's
league, if
half
not
his
the best,
size.
bro, like half his size. When KD is saying that, and especially when KD shoots over everyone, bro, you know that you need to listen. Like you need to listen very, very clearly because Drew Holiday is a top defender in this league, man, for sure. I guess
Nah,
then
definitely.
the question to you is, and obviously it's been one of the biggest.
No, a couple more points on the
Oh,
Bucks,
God.
innit? Just giving Middleton his flowers. Amazing game, 40 piece. I think he had like 12 points in the fourth or something, or 12 of their last 16 points, something like that. He was doing a madness in the mid range. That Giannis Middleton pick and roll was working nice. Yeah, man. I think Middleton is just he's in a nice spot in that because I hear people in the media saying it that he plays bad, he doesn't get criticism. He plays well, he gets all the love. Do you get what I mean? Because at the end of the day, he's
Which
your
I
second
hear.
best player.
Which
Yeah,
I hear.
there's validity to it. It's like CJ. CJ plays bad, no one really criticizes him. He plays well, he gets a lot of love. Do you know what I mean? So I definitely
Yeah.
understand it, but when you're talking about skill level, Middleton is highly skilled, man. Like the guy's mid range game, he can make any shot. Literally, he's an elite shooter. And yeah, man, he closes games for them, and you're not gonna win playoffs games without a closer, man.
100%, man, 100%, and I think that's what the Bucks deserve credit for, man. They've recognized that Giannis is the best player on that team, yes, for sure. But just like with most teams, you don't want your big man closing games for you.
And
Especially
Giannis deserves credit for that as well because he's actually come out in press conferences saying that I'm comfortable with Middleton closing games for us because I know he's capable.
yeah, and you need a very, very like
Humble superstar.
selfless, humble,
Exactly.
yeah, all the right words for that to happen for sure. But Giannis deserves his flowers. I mean, one of the greatest blocks we've seen in playoff history, one of the best
Yep.
defensive players, limiting Devin Booker in the pick and roll situation whilst neutralizing DeAndre Ayton and the alley oop. That, like, bro, like if you haven't seen that play, type on
Go,
YouTube right now
yeah,
and go and
facts.
watch it,
Go
man.
look at that play, fam.
That's
And
what
if
that's what
you go on.
go on.
No, I was gonna say if you know basketball, you know that's basically an impossible play.
Yeah,
Because that's their two main threats. Devin Booker, who's a mid-range assassin, so you have to like at least
commit
contest,
to him.
get ready to
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Commit to stopping him. And you've got DeAndre Ayton behind you. He's
one
behind
of the
you.
best
Lob
alley oops,
finishers in the league.
bro,
And
fam.
you can't even see him. So Giannis even said it in the post game. He said, I didn't even try and I didn't look for the ball. He said he just wanted to protect the rim. He just wanted to get a hand up near the rim. I
Yeah,
mean, and a lot of people have said Giannis is the only guy on the planet that can make that play. I think there's
I
one other
disagree.
guy. Yeah,
I
I think
disagree.
Anthony
Not every
Davis.
can
Yeah,
definitely make that
I
play.
think those two are the two guys that
I,
can make that
I
play.
even think at a stretch, it's gonna be biased, but at a stretch, I think Embiid can make that play as well.
I don't think he's got the foot speed or explosiveness.
I
You
think
think JaVale can do it? JaVale said that he can do it, you know.
the thing is, yeah, the thing
bro,
is,
bro,
on a
JaVale
massive,
can
on
do
a
that thing, you
random
know.
day, on a random day, JaVale would just do something mad. Do you know what? Prime Dwight can do that.
Yes,
Prime Dwight
yes,
can do it.
yeah.
But bro, at the end of the day, what it comes down to is Giannis is the one
Giannis
that
did
did
it.
it. Yeah,
Facts.
Giannis did it. He deserves so much credit for that. And like, bro, it's like the reason why the block was so great as well. It's like the point you mentioned. He couldn't see, so he sees the ball get lobbed over to him, but he has to turn and then put his hand up, so he can't see
Bro.
where it's bro. And
Oh,
you're gonna,
meanwhile, Aiton's already in the air. Aiton's
bro,
already in the air.
bro. Aiton's already in the air. Like if correct me if I'm wrong, Aiton went for a two-handed jam.
Yes.
Yeah, so bro, like crazy, man,
Bro.
crazy
That's
athleticism.
one of the best plays you ever see like in the NBA
Do,
finals.
do you think it's better than LeBron's block on
No,
Iggy?
no. And that's not bias. That's the stage of the game. Do you know what I mean? That was like 2 minutes, like 1 minute 30 left in the game.
1 minute
LeBron
left,
did that.
bro. 1 minute. Like,
No one had scored for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the situation, also, everyone's tired. Man ran the full length of the court. Man was blowing past everybody, everybody to get to that.
And that's like, I think, do you know what I'll give to Giannis is skill level wise, that's harder to do.
Definitely. Skill is what makes it harder. Because you are guarding Book and then you're getting back to Ayton.
100%.
So skill level is harder.
In terms of better, bro.
In terms of difficulty.
I
might give Giannis in terms of difficulty. But the thing is, the difference is though, do I think Giannis could do? Nah, because LeBron can't. No, Giannis can. Giannis can do what LeBron did.
What, against the Warriors in that same situation?
Yeah, I think he can. But the only thing is he hasn't, and he hasn't been in that situation.
It's gonna be hard. Yeah, it's gonna be hard.
I mean, the reason why LeBron's one was, do you know what I mean? It's hard to compare. It's hard to compare. But LeBron's one was so nuts because it was Game 7
against 73-9 Warriors.
73-9, coming back from 3-1 in their house.
In their house, bro, it's crazy. Still, that block's crazy. I mean,
not to minimize Giannis's one. Giannis's one is crazy, but
skill wise, though, Giannis one, I'll say.
Yeah. And bro, that pretty much won them the game. Do you know what I mean? Because
if Ayton hits that, I believe they go up 1.
Yeah. With like 2 minutes left in the game or so, or maybe a bit more.
It would have been no less. It's 1:10, like something like that,
bro. That literally secured them the win, fam. That place. Yeah. Was huge, man. You gotta give him his credit for that. You love seeing players like that, though, man, because it just showed you how special these men are.
And it's actually good that the viewing numbers of the playoffs is up rapidly from last year as well. Like, because the fans are back, people are more interested and engaged. And it's good, man. It's refreshing for the league as well. 2 new teams in the finals, 2 teams deserving of their place. I think it's been a better finals than I expected, man. It's been a good finals. I knew it'd be a good finals because you've got great players. As I said, Giannis is gonna be one of the best players to ever play the game. Chris Paul is one of the best point guards to ever play the game. Devin Booker is gonna go down as one of the best scorers probably to ever play the game. Like, the guy's been averaging 25 a game since he was like 20 years old. Yeah.
And Middleton's super skilled as well. So I think everyone was just looking at the fact that it was Milwaukee versus Phoenix. Yeah, I mean, so it's not big markets. It's not the Lakers. It's not the Celtics.
Imagine there was no
it's not the Warriors.
Imagine there was no COVID and it was Lakers v Miami. That would have been crazy for America.
Absolute madness.
Economy would have gone into like
what? And bro, flying back from LA to Miami. Nice scenes.
Bro, the coverage would have been outside, bro. It would have been just outside.
the palm trees dangling everywhere. It would have been a madness. But yeah, man, it's been a great finals, man. I'm definitely enjoying it, and feels like it's gonna go 7, man. So you said you're sticking with the Suns?
Yeah, I don't like, especially in the finals, I don't like changing the prediction in it. So I'm gonna just stick with the Suns. I said Suns. Did I say Suns in 6 or 7?
We both said Suns in 6.
Yeah, I said Suns in 6. I think it'll be Suns in 7 though now. But Suns in 6, I don't mind. Like, I'll take that. But I think it will go 7 though, if I'm being like totally honest and transparent. So, yeah, man. No, I think we.
No, I was gonna say it.
Go on.
Just on my prediction, because I obviously said Suns in 6. I have to react to what I've seen.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I have to react to what I've seen. Do you know what I mean? I'm just saying it how I see it. So based on what I've seen, the Bucks are physically dominating them. Do you know what I mean?
Cool then. Last question. Sorry to interject, but last question, because I think it's important. So if Giannis wins this chip, what does that mean for his legacy? Like, what does that do for him?
Bro, that does not everything, but that is like huge. That just solidifies the fact that he's going to be an all-time great.
Yeah,
because he's already done something that only Michael Jordan and Hakeem have done in winning the MVP and Defensive Player of the Year in the same season. He's putting up Shaq-type numbers this series. Do you know what I mean? And the numbers ain't going anywhere anytime soon. He's going to be a dominant player for the next 10 years. So for me, it just solidifies the fact that he's going to go down as one of the best players to ever play the game.
Yeah, no, facts, man, facts, 100%. And then for Chris Paul, I mean, we did allude to it a bit already in terms of his legacy, but him not winning a chip this year, is that it done for him?
Yes, I believe this is his only chance to win a chip because he's 36 years old. He's not getting any younger.
Unless
But
unless he goes to the Lakers or something.
Even that, he's trying to collect his bag before he thinks about winning the chip. Yeah, I mean, he's a free agent end of the season. His priority is going to be collecting his last paycheck. You know what I mean? Not winning a ring. So I don't think it damages his legacy. As I said earlier, you know, he's up against a great team, great player, but you know, it does kind of water down the excuses of the injuries. Do you know what I mean? As in from years prior. Because people like to bring that up a lot when defending Chris Paul in it, but now it's like you're there, but you came up small. So it's like,
I think for me, for sure, look, I take a different stance, man. I think Chris Paul's one of my favorite point guards of all time, especially considering someone that I get to see live in the flesh as well. And bro, you know me, I'm big on like brains. Like I love guys who can see the floor. They just see it in a different way. Like what we see, bird's eye view is what them man are seeing on a eye to eye level. And I just think
it's a chess game, fam, with guys like Chris Paul.
That level of ability is just what I love, man. But bro, it tarnishes his legacy a lot, man. Bucks, this is a situation where the Bucks also haven't won a chip. They haven't gotten over the line yet. And really and truly, the next thing you turn to is experience. Who's the most experienced? Who do you want the ball in their hands when you're trying to win a chip? And a lot of people, 9 times out of 10, I would even say, that's how confident I am in his ability. People would say Chris Paul. So for him to not get the job done against inexperienced guy in Giannis, yes, he's one of the best players in the league, but he's inexperienced. And then the second best player is Middleton, bro. You'll be thinking Chris Paul, you should be able to get this done. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, I think that's
a big. These next 3 games are the biggest of his career.
100%, man. 100%. Cool. We'll leave it there for today, man. We've gone into a lot.
Trust me. Hey, people are gonna eat this one up. Still, this is a good one. Still.
No, 100%, man. I really enjoyed for sure the trade hypotheticals.
Nadim lacked, man. He would have enjoyed this.
Yeah, that's up Nadim's park, man. It's up his street. He would have come in with saying that Atlanta would have made a trade or something.
Facts. Or the Kings or something.
The Kings or something, yeah. Nadim's got something up his sleeve or something. But nah, man. It's been a good episode for sure. Make sure you hit up on the socials. Hit up at @AsOnTheBallTV _ Follow us on Instagram, Twitter. Subscribe to our YouTube, bringing you more content as ever. First down coming true. Eyes on the Ball TV coming true. Yeah, man. High Press Media. We got so much stuff coming your way this upcoming season. As the NBA season closes, the NFL and football seasons will be opening. So sport never stops, and we never stop. It's Eyes on the Ball.
Come on.
Eyes on the court. We out.